the video on stewed rhubarb. So, Forced Rhubarb is in the shops at the moment. It's a decent price. It's $4.99 a kilo. Obviously, if you grow it yourself, it's cheap and it comes back every year. It's Forced Rhubarb, so it's not as tough and it's a little bit sweeter and it's not as bitter. So it's certainly nice for stewing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stew it simply in the oven, and then I'm going to put it in some jars and preserve it that way. So I'll have it like a bit like a rhubarb compot, but you'll kind of see what I'm doing. Pretty straightforward. So whip the leaves off the top. We don't want that bit. And then the problem with rhubarb is it's mostly water, like lots of fruits, mostly water. So it tends to cook down to absolutely nothing. So you want to keep it decent size, so maybe a centimetre across. We'll do this, and then we don't need to add any water. We're just going to put straight sugar on top of it, put it in the oven. So it's not technically stewed because stewed is on top of the stove. So it's going to go, we're going to sprinkle it with sugar, mix it all in, and then we're going to slowly cook it in the oven, nice and gently, and it will, and the sugar will draw out moisture and it will create its own kind of syrup, and it'll be absolutely delicious. So that kind of size, and then I've done the kilo that I bought, so all in the tray like that. And then I know there's 300 grams of sugar in this bag. We'll see how much we need. I can't remember. I tend to do things just by feel. So what's that worth? We'll just weigh what's left. I think what's that, about 180 grams, something like that. No, 150. So we'll do a straight 100. Well, it was 140. So we'll do 150 grams, and then it kind of makes the recipe pretty straightforward. Yeah. So that's 150 grams of sugar, a kilo. Well, it was a kilo in weight of rhubarb before I prepped it. So there's probably about 900 grams of prepped rhubarb, a kilo of unprepped rhubarb. So we'll give it a mix, just like that. What this will happen is all the sugar will start drawing out the moisture. So we don't, as long as we cook it slowly in the oven, we don't need to add any liquid. So it's just going to be pure rhubarb with sugar, which is nice. You can put in some citrus zest, so a bit of orange zest or a bit of lemon zest in there would be nice, but I haven't got any spare, so it's just going to be the rhubarb with the sugar. So wash the hands, get rid of the mat sugar, and then tin foil on top, or kitchen foil, whatever you want to call it. So it's basically going to slowly steam, stroke, braise in the oven. So foil securely on top, and then we'll stick it in at 150, and it'll be ready when it's ready, as always. Maybe an hour and a half, but we'll just keep an eye on it. So that's it. So we'll come back and I'll show you when it's ready, and you'll see how much juice comes out of it. So I'm not going to add any liquid to that, and you'll be surprised how much liquid comes out of that as it cooks. Right, so the rhubarb has been in for about 20 minutes, half an hour. It's starting to become soft, and as you can see, as we do that, all this juice has started to come out of the rhubarb. The rhubarb is, I've just tasted a little bit of rhubarb, and it's quite sharp, but the syrup is absolutely delicious. If I'm honest, absolutely delicious. So I think it needs more sugar because we need to compensate for the sharpness of the, so we'll just, how much do I think? We'll always do things by taste. Yeah, so if I kind of imagine in my head the amount of syrup that's there and the amount of rhubarb that's there, there's not going to be enough sweetness in the syrup to compensate for the sharpness in the rhubarb. So I reckon we're going to need what's that? Another 50 grams, maybe 100 grams of sugar. We'll give it a measure. Yes, so that's another 50 grams of sugar. We'll put it back into the oven for another 10 minutes just to finish off the cooking. It's nice and soft now, but it'll just need just that little bit more just to kind of melt that sugar, cook the rhubarb just that little bit more, and then we'll come back and then it should be ready in 10 or 15 minutes or so. So we'll just kind of see, and then we'll put it in some jars and we'll preserve it as a compote. It freezes really well, but I'm going to put it in jars and have it as a compote, and then it's really nice with yogurt, or if you want to turn it into a dessert like a fool or something like that. Right, the rhubarb is now cooked and the sugar has melted into it. So we'll just move it around a little bit so you can see quite a lot of juice has come out of it, and that's turned into a lovely syrup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in some jars. I'm going to preserve it like a jam. So I'm going to, when it's cooled slightly, I'm going to put it in some nice clean jars with lids on, and then I'm going to preserve it that way. I'll probably put it in a water bath and kind of bring it up to the simmering point, just to kind of kill any kind of bacteria. You don't need to do that. Keeps in the fridge for 5 days, easy peasy. There's different things you can do with it. So you could just eat like compote on things like yogurt, or you could make it into a fool, kind of put a crunchy topping on it and make it into a crumble, put it into a pie, that type of thing. What you can do is, this juice is lovely and pink and lovely and clear. What you could do is you could strain off the juice gently. Don't kind of push the fruit through a sieve. Just gently drain off the juice, and you could thicken that with gelatin and turn it into a rhubarb jelly, and that would be absolutely delicious. But it's one of those things I always kind of think people don't know what to do with rhubarb, and it's delicious. The forced rhubarb is lovely and sweet and lovely and pink. It's certainly worth checking out and certainly worth buying. The stuff that you buy in tins and the thicker stalks take a lot more cooking and a lot more sugar, aren't just quite as nice. But the forced rhubarb is absolutely lovely, and it's certainly a joy at this time of year. I mean, yeah. So also what you can do, if you're into making spirits, I think it's a bit of a waste, but you can make like rhubarb gin. So forced rhubarb, sugar and gin, and you mix it all up in a container and then leave it to store, and then like in 6 months time you'll have this really nice rhubarb gin. Personally, I think it's a waste of rhubarb and a waste of gin, but each to your own. But yeah, that's it. So that's what I'm going to do with forced rhubarb. I'll probably just add what it looks like once I put it all in the jars, but it just needs to, it's really soft, so you just need to be a little bit careful when you put it in the jars, because I don't want to turn it into a pulp. I kind of still want the stalks to kind of look like rhubarb. So we've jarred it up. These, as you can imagine, that was a lot of rhubarb, and it's cooked down to not a lot. So these jars are, so it was a kilo of forced rhubarb, and then it was about 900 grams of prepped rhubarb, and then 200 grams of sugar, and it's cooked down to this. So these are about 260 gram jars. So there's 4 of those, and then there's a little bit that I'm not going to jar up, which I'm obviously going to eat over the next couple of days. So clean jars, lids on. There is probably videos out there of how to preserve compote and things like that. What I'm going to do is, I'm already preserving some other things, so I'm going to let those go cold, put them in a pan of cold water, bring them up to the boil, and I'm going to preserve them that way. But they will keep for ages, and they'll be absolutely delicious. I think that's it, I'm sure. But yeah, it looks really pretty. If I haven't, yeah, I might kind of, or kind of shot. I'll move the camera, and you can see what a mess the kitchen is because I'm faffing around today. So let's do this properly. But you can see them from the side. They look really pretty. So like that there. As you can see, don't they look pretty? So it's one of those, I always kind of think it's one of those things, if it's someone's birthday, I'm a little bit caught off guard, and I've got one of those in the cupboard, I would certainly give those as a part of a gift for a birthday, or if I had friends coming around, or I was going around to see friends, I'd give that as a gift, and they would absolutely love that. It's absolutely a delightful thing to have in the cupboard. There we go. Pretty straightforward-ish, as always.